Check it. Alright guys, what is up? You are back for another video with Data Zero. In this video, we'll be looking at SPY, AMC, GME, and Bitcoin briefly, and we are looking at APE as well. This is your overall market update, getting you guys ready for the trading week. We look at the overall market, the news coming out about the market, fear and greed for the market as well, SPY predictions, AMC predictions, getting you guys brushed up on that as well. We look at GME and APE in this video, and more. So you don't want to miss a second of this video. Without wasting any more time, let's go ahead and hop in the charts, the facts, the data, and see what we have going on. All right, guys, what is up? You are back for another video with Data Zero. In this video, we're going to be looking at AMC. We're going to be looking at SPY, GME. This is going to be your overall market update before market open, getting you prepared for the market and this trading week. So let's go ahead and look at SPY. Give you guys a prediction short-term and mid-term on SPY, and then of course, you know, on the long-term macro, I am calling for more downside on SPY. So as you guys can see, let's go ahead and hop in here. As you guys can see, psychology of the market, we basically are at the end of the euphoria rally, going into the complacency stage. We are in complacency right now. As you can see, optimism, belief, thrill, euphoria. This is key. Psychology is key to understand in order to get ahead of the crowd, be ahead of the herd, because they are always doing the wrong thing. You need to be a leader. You need to be the opposite of the herd. That is very, very important in the market. And we can go ahead and see, if you go ahead and zoom out on SPY, you guys can see that we basically had this major rally to the upside. This is the complacency stage. As you have that sharp drop down, then you have that sideways chop to the upside. As you guys can see, sideways chop to the upside. Go ahead and overlay that with the psychology. You have that sideways chop to the upside. Then you have a big drop to the downside, and I do think this big drop is coming for SPY to the downside, but not before we see one last pump to the upside. So I do think we're going to see a pump to the upside to about 430, 425, 435, around that range on this top support line, depending where we get to it. That will be depending on where the price will be. As you guys can see, it is an ascending line, so that the further we go down in time, the higher it will be, but it's about 125 to the 135 range that I do think will be testing that line. So I do think we're going to get one more push to the upside to those higher ranges. I do think SPY is going to have a green Monday, but have possibly a red week. I do think we're going to be moving to the upside overall on SPY. Let's go ahead and pop on the alligator and show you guys why I do believe this. As you guys can see, super trend buy signal on the 4-hour time frame, then pop on the alligator on the 4-hour time frame. You guys can see that we do have movement to the upside, or the bands are spread far apart. That means there is a lot of momentum to this move, and as you guys can see here, bands are spread very, very apart and crossing to the upside, curving to the upside, which means this move has a little bit momentum left. I do think we're going to see a move to about the 125 area, push to that range, 130 area, then see pullback. And then once the bottom breaks out here, that is when you're going to see that major pullback on SPY. Once we break this lower trend line, this lower resistance, you're going to see major capitulation for SPY. I do think that will be coming here in the next couple of weeks, and I do think that will correlate also with the move with AMC. I do think the SPY is going to be moving down while AMC actually is moving up and in the squeeze territory, believe it or not, as crazy as that sounds. I do think AMC is going to be moving up while the SPY goes down. I also have myself personally hedged with something like SQQQ, not financial advice, but this goes up while the SPY goes down. And we also have seen Bitcoin moving up as well. I do think Bitcoin is going to decouple from the stock market. We have been seeing Bitcoin move up in the banking crisis. Every time a bank fails, you see Bitcoin start to pump. That is something to be very, very aware of. If you look at the US dollar DXY, this is something you guys can also be aware of. This is something I like to use. Markets tend to correlate. So when this moves to the upside, stocks tend to move down. Bitcoin as well, but I do think Bitcoin is going to decouple from that. Bitcoin often tends to couple with things, and then until it doesn't. It's a very unique asset. As it matures, it tends to change. But I do think SPY
is going to see an effect from this as the dollar continues to move up. I think the dollar is moving into an uptrend. It will go to about 105, maybe 107, maybe 110, around that range before seeing pullback, in my personal opinion. So that is going to be having an effect on the SPY, and I do think the SPY is going to be coming crashing down here in the next couple of weeks, maybe a month or two from now. It is going to take a little bit more time for this complacency stage to wear out. It basically gets the last bit of bullishness out of the market, wears the last bit of buyers out until buyers get exhausted, and then it capitulates. As you guys can see, you have that rally, then it just basically gets all the liquidity out. Buyers get exhausted as it runs up a little bit more, and then the bottom just falls out, and when it falls out, it is bad. And I do think this will be coming for the SPY. If you go ahead and look at AMC, of course, I do think the psychology for AMC is slightly different, as I do explain this in my videos. As you guys can see, you have your euphoria rally here, then this is your complacency stage, you have that big drop down, then this is your anger and depression, and I do think AMC is actually in the disbelief rally, and that's why many people, even when I post bullish videos and things like that, telling them that the squeeze is coming, like I told you guys, I do think we're going to be moving to the upside here in 2 weeks. They tend to meet that resistance because they do not believe AMC can run, and that's exactly where the market makers want them. Also, information that you guys need to know, FOMC minutes coming out on Wednesday. FOMC minutes coming out on Wednesday. This will be affecting the market in jolts on Wednesday, 31st. Next week, we have FOMC minutes on Wednesday, 24th, and on Friday, the 26th, we have core price index and durable goods orders month over month, personal income month over month, and personal spending month over month. These will be affecting the markets, but FOMC minutes will be affecting the market the most. That's something you need to be aware of. Fear and greed is going to almost to the extreme greed levels on the market. As you guys can see, this is the fear and greed index for the overall stock market. You want to be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. That is how you get the most amount of money and stay the opposite of the herd. You want to buy when the point of maximum financial opportunity is, not point of maximum financial risk. When everyone's greedy in the euphoria stage and the thrill stage and all that euphoria and greed is in the market, that's when you need to be fearful and start scaling out of your position. When everyone is bearish and scared and fearful, that's when you need to be bullish and start scaling into your position. If you look at AMC, you can see that the fear is at 39 for AMC, and this will be an historic time to buy AMC, in my personal opinion. This $5 price point will not be available here in the future, and all the people that are high, you need to average down very, very quickly. Not financial advice, before these prices are not available anymore. You had plenty of time to average down, get your price low. That way, when we run up and make this next run that I do think is coming, you are able to get that benefit. If we go ahead and look at the indicators for AMC, you can see the Bollinger Bands here are squeezing ever so tightly on the weekly time frame. Again, more indication that a move is coming as we are trending to the upside. I also released a video earlier today. Go ahead and check that out, where I think we are in the bars pattern. As you guys can see, I do think this is where we are circled in the bars pattern. It's basically this rounded bottom formation for AMC. Let's go ahead and look at AMC on the micro time frame, the smaller time frames, and go ahead and show you what I'm talking about. So I basically think AMC is going to start form a round and bottom. Bollinger Bands here are getting very, very tight on the 4-hour time frame, telling me volatility is coming. I do think this volatility is going to be to the upside. We have MACD bullish, as you guys can see, and we are in this overall ascending triangle, which is a bullish formation once we break out of this 515 range. I do expect that to happen around Wednesday or Thursday this week, but if it does happen earlier, that will be golden. So let's go ahead and look on the shorter time frames, what we need to do to get that push to the upside. This could happen at any time. The Bollinger Bands are constricting, getting very, very tight. We are consolidating. We just broke out of this falling wedge. We are about to move to the upside. I'm predicting a green weekly candle print for this candle. I'm predicting a green weekly candle print for the weekly candle. So I'm predicting that a weekly candle will be green. Also, I'm predicting upside for this week, obviously, if the weekly candle is going to be green. But as you guys can see, for the next couple of days, 1, 2, 3, 4 days, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm expecting that push to the upside. If we can get above $5.15, then we can see that move earlier, but we need to break above $5.15, hold it as support, and then bounce off of it. You want to see a move like this. I'm going to guys show you with the polyline. Go ahead and break above it, test it as support, and then bounce off of it. You want to see a move like that to confirm the breakout. I do think it's going to happen here next week. At the latest, Thursday or Wednesday is the day I'm looking for, and I'm hoping we can break up to that 550 level. Then in the next couple of weeks, start consolidating around that 550 level, maybe a little bit lower, but then start moving in week number 2 to the upside, where we start seeing that massive price action that I am calling for the AMC squeeze. So I do think we will be above $6 in the next 2 weeks and starting to see that massive volatility to the upside and start getting into the hope and recovery optimism phase of the bull run. As you guys can see, it almost looks exactly like the price action we're seeing right now, the disbelief rally. You see this movement to the upside. You see that slight bit of pullback, as you guys can see. And if you go ahead and look at what AMC is doing right now, we have a uptrend, as you guys can see. We're moving in this uptrend. We have that slight bit of pullback, and basically I'm expecting us to start moving to the upside with this rounded bottom, as you guys can see, in the next couple of weeks. Break that $6.20 level. Once we break that $6.20 level, that is the official confirmation. Start really moving to the upside. Break this $8 and $12 resistance, $8 to $12 resistance, which I call this golden zone. Little support and resistance after that, and AMC will really start to move to the upside, and this should happen within the next 2 to 3 weeks. And next 2 weeks, I am expecting AMC to be above $6.20 and the squeeze to be starting, seeing us that massive volatility moving to the upside. So that is basically what I have for you guys on AMC. Let's go ahead and look at GME, APE, and then wrap up this video. So GME as well, I do think GME is about to start moving to the upside as well, basically consolidating over the next 1 to 3 days, and then of course on Wednesday or Thursday start to move to the upside. GME needs to break this local high of 2330. Once it breaks 2330, I'm expecting it to push to that final push to the upside, breaking this overall sloping resistance that has been resistance for quite some time, and it's very, very exciting that this is happening for GME. You can see the Bollinger Band constricting very, very tight as GME is in this overall uptrend. One thing I want to point out on AMC as well and GME as well, look at volume on this overall downtrend. Sellers are literally getting exhausted. We are seeing low volume. We are seeing liquidity drying up. This is all evidence of a short squeeze, especially with the Bollinger Bands getting very, very tight. And you can see with GME as well, volume doing the same exact thing. GME also has the unique feature of having some of the float locked up, 50% of the float locked up by computer share, making liquidity a little bit harder to come by. 60% of the float locked up computer share, making liquidity a little bit more harder to come by, as well as having a lower float. Again, all good ingredients for a massive short squeeze. GME short interest is sitting at over 20% as well. So these are all great things. People asking after me often ask me which one is better to hold. Guys, I'm telling you, my personal opinion, you want to hold both of these stocks. You want to hold both of these stocks, in my personal opinion, not financial advice. If you are looking for the short squeeze and looking for the maximum amount of gains, you want to split your money. Let's say if you only had $100 to invest, I would invest 50 in AMC, 50 in GameStop if I were looking to invest in these stocks before doing my research. Now, guys, let's go ahead and look at GME on the short term and show you guys what I'm talking about as well. Again, I'm hoping we break that 2350 later, 2330 level later this week, breaking that level, and then you know it is absolutely on with GME. Next goal for GME after it breaks that 2330 level would be that $25 level that we see that overall sloping resistance, that 2-year macro sloping resistance at about 2430 at this price point. Of course, it slopes down, so it's getting lower and lower and lower, but right now at about 2350, 2340 in that range. And then once we break that, things will get crazy for GME. And of course, guys, you want to see it always when I talk about breaking the levels, I talk about breaking above, retesting, using it as support, and then moving to the upside. You always want to see a move such as that when I do say break these levels. Let's go ahead and look at APE and then wrap up this video. So APE is moving to the upside, as you guys can see. APE is in a overall uptrend. I do think APE is going to run with AMC. I do think they're going to run before the conversion or reverse split, or even before the court date. I do not think the reversion or reverse split is going to be happening. I think it's very, very clear what's going on. I think Adam Aaron sold out our voting rights. I think that's very, very clear. I think the court is going to see how corrupt this thing is, how many fake shares there are, and just make this whole thing go back to the drawing board. If not, order a share count or something of that nature. So as you guys can see, Bollinger Bands getting very, very tight on the 4-hour time frame, letting me know that volatility is coming. I do think that volatility is going to be to the upside. As you guys can see, we broke this overall sloping resistance. We have this pennant shape right here. As you guys can see, this overall up trending resistance and down trending resistance. We broke above it, pushing to the upside, using it as support right now. And I do think APE is about to make a nice movement to the upside, breaking this $1.75 mark, moving to that $2 mark, and then that $2.50 mark. This will be happening, in my personal opinion, in the next 2 weeks once AMC starts to run and GME starts to run as well. I do think all three of these stocks are going to see upside, in my personal opinion, not financial advice. But guys, this is basically what I'm looking at for APE, AMC, and GME, the overall market, Bitcoin as well. I do think the market is going to see an overall push to the upside. Before we come back to the downside. As you guys can see, I'm going to go ahead and mark this out for you real quickly before I wrap up the video. Overall push to the upside. We'll mark it with a polyline, push to the upside, then having a major bull trap, getting everyone in bullish. Then we see a major capitulation down to the downside. This will be happening within the next couple of months, and then we'll see even more capitulation for the market, even more downside for the market. As you guys can see, the psychology, the technicals, as you guys can see, we're in this bear flag as well. We also have technicals, which is the bear flag. We also have the sell signal on the weekly time frame. If you go ahead and pop on the indicators and look at the super trend, you guys can see that we have a sell signal on the weekly time frame. We are in this bear flag, and then as well we have the psychology telling us that we're going to be moving down as well. Everyone thinks we're going to be moving into another rally. We just need to cool off before the next rally. A lot of people have not seen a bear market. They don't know what's coming, but this is what the biggest bull trap of the century is going to be, pushing it down to the downside. And I can see that a lot of people are already bullish, thinking that the market is going to all-time highs. I think AMC is going to move against the market while the market crashes. I've done videos on this showing how Volkswagen has squeezed, and the biggest down month for the market was when Volkswagen squeezed right in the middle of the recession, right in the middle of the market crash. That's when Volkswagen squeezed, and that's when the most pain was happening, when liquidity dried up, and we've seen the biggest short squeeze in 2008. I think that this is going to be our Volkswagen. We're going to see this as the market goes to the downside. We're going to see AMC pump to the upside. But guys, basically that's everything I have for you. If you found the video informative, go ahead and check me out on Twitter. I talk about my stocks, crypto trades all day long. So if you found it interesting, go ahead and check that out. And as always, have fun, stay safe, make money. Peace out.
Alright guys, that was the video, and as always, I appreciate each and every one of you that watches the end, shows loves in the comments, and drops like. It really does mean a lot to me. And as always guys, you check me out on Twitter and Discord for even more Data Zero updates, and you can become a member of this channel for early access to my videos, access to me, and access to exclusive Igimos that you can use in the super chats, live streams, and on my videos. Guys, as always, I appreciate each and every one of you, and have fun, stay safe, make money. Peace out.